Welcome to Handi Quilter's Watch and Learn. I'm Kim Sandberg, and with me today is Kristina Whitney. We're both educators here at Handi Quilter, and we are so excited to talk to you today about the wave rulers. The wave rulers are some of our favorites, right, Kristina?
Right, Kim.
We love them.
Yes. Let me show you some of these rulers.
Okay.
First of all, we've got 6 rulers. They're wave A through wave F.
Right.
And if you look at the rulers, let's pull this up so you can see here. All of the rulers are marked, and they have measurements. Like this one's 6" by 0.75 inches. So the 6" is the length for the full repeat, and the 0.75 inches is high point to low point. So that can help you to know which template will be best for the space that you're trying to quilt in.
Oh, that's nice.
And they all have nice grid marks.
Mm-hmm.
They have echo lines that go along here.
Now, what do you mean by echo line?
Well, you're going to show what to do with the echo line.
That's right, I am.
So we'll hold off on that.
Okay.
With all of the echo rulers, they come in this packaging, and on the back they've got these great sample ideas of designs that you can do with them.
Right.
I do want to mention that the feathers are not part of the ruler. We're going to talk about that also in just a minute. So, Kim, what do you have going on over there?
Well, let's start by looking at a really awesome sample that has been quilted a lot with wave rulers. So this is a sample that was actually made by Marie Eldridge, one of our past studio educators, who was the queen of rulers. I love everything that Marie does with rulers. And she really loved to take just negative space and divide it up. And she would create these really great channels. You guys can see that channel there. And then put fun designs in between them. She also did a fun repeat here where once again she created these channels, and you can see that she did a thinner channel that crosses over itself to create this design. And then there's another really cool way that she used them right down here. You can see that she actually varied the amount of space in each of the channels, and then she added this cute little loop in there just to add a little variation. But you can see you don't have to have those rulers be exactly, you know, a 1/4 inch apart. I mean, as you can see here, it varies in widths, but it really adds a really fun texture to the quilt. So dividing up those spaces is really fun. Here's a couple more of her fun ideas that she did. This one here, once again, the big wave with the piano keys with all these fun swirls and pebbles in there. And then this is really fun. She just had one that crossed over itself, and then she filled in out here with all the matchstick quilting to really just make that center point pop. And it's such a fun design, isn't it?
Yeah. I know for me, sometimes when I get these quilts that have big open spaces, I get a little bit nervous because I don't know what to do.
Right.
So using these rulers and breaking up or dividing that space is really great, because then you can focus on smaller sections at a time.
Exactly, exactly. It's that negative space can be so intimidating, and dividing it up with that fun wave, which means we don't have to have a perfectly straight line, is so perfect. It really, really is. So, okay, so dividing large spaces, we talked about that. Let's talk about some other ways that we can use the ruler. You mentioned using the ruler to create a spine. Are you talking about like a spine for a feather?
I am talking about a spine for a feather.
Let's take a look at that.
Okay, so first of all, I've already stitched out. This is our wave D.
Okay.
So I've stitched out one line here and then the other side, so that you can see the difference in the length and also the depth of the wave.
Okay.
So I am going to show you how to stitch on the ruler real quick.
Okay.
Safety reminders. You want to use a sure foot.
Right.
You want to have your ruler base on.
Right.
And optional is your handy grip.
Right.
So this ruler that I'm using right now doesn't have handy grip on it. If it was a ruler that I wanted to make sure it stayed in place, then I would definitely want to put some handy grip on it.
Right, right. And what are you using, like, how are you lining this up on the fabric?
So this fabric has some grids on it. So I'm going to use the grid marking on the fabric, or you could use a seam if it's a pieced quilt top, or you could even just draw a line on.
Exactly.
And so actually I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to trace this line and see if it shows up a little bit better for everybody.
Oh, that's good. And that's just one of those like water erase markers, right?
Yeah, this one's the water soluble.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to look at this ruler, and it's got a line coming straight down here, and it says needle stop. On the opposite end, it has the same thing, needle stop. So I'm going to line that needle stop up with my needle, and then line up using my grid lines on the ruler going across, and I'm just going to stitch my spine. I'm going to pause the machine here and adjust my hand position, coming over, and I'm going to stop when I get to my needle stop point. So right there. And if I wanted to do a longer border, that's where I would shift over, and again using that needle stop, and that will give me a continuous wave going all the way across.
Very cool.
Okay, so I am actually going to stitch back over it because I like to do my feathers going the other direction. So I'm going to offset it just a tiny bit.
Right.
I'm not going to try to stitch right on top of it, and it'll give it a little bit more design element there.
Right. Plus, when you're making a feather, you always end up stitching over that spine a little bit anyway, right?
Mm-hmm. So now I'm just purposely, now that I'm purposely trying to not go straight over, of course it's going to want to go over. Okay.
You're just so good at rulers, Kristina.
I don't know about that. Okay, so I've got this nice spine here, and I'm going to embellish it.
Okay.
And I think I want to give myself some space.
Right.
So let's pretend it's in a border.
Okay.
This is going to be my border here,
I like this.
and I want to fill in all of that space there.
Okay.
So I am going to just start with some feathers here. Ooh, that was a beautiful feather.
I was just going to ask you if you were going to do bump back or what type of feathers you're going to do.
I'm going to do whatever comes into my mind at that moment.
fun.
We can add some spikes.
I think that's the best part about feathers is just to have fun while you're stitching, right?
Yep. I'm not going to concern myself with it being perfect. I probably should, but you know,
Yeah.
when you're on film, it's a whole nother element added into the pressure.
Isn't that the truth? I think it looks great though. And every feather should have its own personality, so.
Okay, let's add a couple more in there. Okay, we'll call that good.
Oh,
But
it's
I've got this
fantastic.
bottom part here, and I'm going to draw the bottom of my border right here.
Okay.
So what I could do is use the straight edge
Oh, right.
on my ruler
Okay.
and just do some piano keys.
Oh, very smart. You know, I had not even thought of using that straight edge. I'm all about the wave on the edge.
Yep,
Way to think, Kristina.
think outside the box.
That's right. Use all four sides of the ruler. That looks really great.
Yep. So that's how you can embellish, add on to. I want to show you one other technique before we send it back over to you, Kim.
Okay. Let's see what you can do. So you expanded your design, meaning you embellished it. Now
Yep.
what are you going to do?
Well, this time I'm going to use the rulers, but I'm not going to use the rulers.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So I'm going to switch over to our wave A.
Okay. And it's a bigger, more gradual
Yes.
curve, right?
And here's a sample of kind of the idea of what we're going for. So it's got this wave,
really cool.
and it's coming in high to low,
Uh-huh.
low to high, but we've got this space in the middle.
I love it.
So what I'm going to do is I don't want to stitch out these lines, but I want to have that definition of the space.
The structure.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to take my ruler with my water-soluble pen,
Okay.
and I'm going to draw just along the edge of my ruler.
So you're just going to use this to create the guidelines on your quilt, essentially.
Yep.
Okay, I like this.
Okay.
A little bit of a different way to use the ruler.
Yes. And it's not going to be absolutely perfect. It's
Yeah.
just kind of a reference point to go for. And shift that one over.
And you're offsetting that so you get those nice big wide spaces. I love it.
So I could do this over the whole entire quilt if I wanted to.
Right.
And then I can come back. What kind of shape should I stitch in here?
Well, we're coming up on the holidays here. Can you think
Oh,
of
no.
something? Should I throw down the gauntlet and really challenge you? Do you want to do something?
A turkey.
A turkey? No.
No turkeys.
No turkeys. How about some flowers? Could you do some flowers that would fit nicely in that space?
Sure, we can do some flowers.
Okay.
Okay, so this could be like a meandering thing all the way across the whole quilt and just repeat it.
Okay.
And then these lines will go away.
Right.
But I have that even spacing.
Right.
So I'm just going to come across here. Let's throw a flower in there. Just give it a little center there, and then travel on.
Very nice.
And then I could put another flower in this section.
Right.
And then I'd have a flower down here, and then it just offsets it so that it's not the same things just stacked right on top of each other.
Exactly. And I love that too, because it's going to create a consistency over your whole quilt, where those flowers are going to be about the same size, because you're always working inside that same space.
Yep.
I think that's really cool. What a great way to use those rulers. I hadn't really thought of that.
Yeah, so
I'm always
not
let's
stitching
just
it.
stitch around the edge of it,
Yeah.
but using it to just create a guideline. That's
Yep.
really cool. Well, speaking of stitching around it, let me show you how to do the channels that we showed on the Marie quilt, and then also on this the pumpkin sampler that Kristina had there. So I've already stitched out a couple of rows, and what I'm going to do is line up here. You know, Kristina mentioned the needle stop here. Well, on this particular design, I need to start in the center of the top of the curve so that I'll be in the right place. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit so I can show you guys how to do a channel. So I'm going to line this up and stitch down, come down to there, and then I'm actually going to move over to my needle stop there so that I can continue on. And we'll come up there and come down, and I'm going to stop and move my hand because I don't want to stitch farther than my hand can stabilize the ruler. And we'll come down to there. And then I want to come up and stitch that channel. So as Kristina mentioned, we have the, what did you call this line again?
Which one?
The 1/4 inch offset. Yeah.
Our echo line.
Our echo line, that's what it is. I'm going to move my ruler up so that that echo line is right on the line that I just stitched. And that way I know I'm actually going to be stitching a little higher this time than I did on my past rows. But I'll bring that right back up there. And it just gives me that nice, perfect channel. Isn't that great?
Yeah, so if you wanted the 1/4 inch channel, you would line the edge of the ruler up with your previous stitch line.
That's exactly right.
But using that echo line, you give yourself a 1/2 inch
A 1/2 inch channel. And then these are so fun, as Kristina just demonstrated, to go through and put some fun designs in here. So I always love to use the wishbone design. It's one of my favorite fillers. For me, this is a fast and easy quilt to lay these channels down going across and then just fill them in with some really fun fills. Do you have any particular fills you like to do in channels?
I love the wishbone also, or ribbon candy.
Ribbon candy.
And with yours, I like to do my fill on every other row.
Right.
And then you get this pop in the middle ones.
Exactly, exactly. It's really fun. Oh, I didn't, so you actually leave the center one, you would leave this one empty? Oh, what a good idea. I'll have to try that. That would make it a little bit faster to quilt too.
Yep.
So yeah, these rulers, they're so fun, they're so versatile, they're just really great rulers. I have every single one and I use them all on multiple projects. Yep. So well, let's take a second and talk about the quilt on the wall. This is actually a quilt that I made, and I made it for the Moxie, and this is another place that you can use the wave rulers, as Kristina was mentioning. I used one to line up my flying geese here. I put a line along there, and then I just used a straight ruler to create those flying geese. So you can easily do all kinds of fun things like that too with this.
Yeah, I also like underneath and on top of your flying geese, how you've got just that half circle kind of, that arc.
A little arc in there.
You could use your
Oh yeah, you
wave
could totally
ruler and
use a wave.
just use a portion of it. You don't
Yep.
have to use the entire wave.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's good to remember that these rulers, they're just so versatile. They can be used so many different ways. So,
Yep. So think outside the box.
exactly.
Find what other ways you can utilize them.
Yeah.
Get your money's worth.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, we want to thank you all for watching this week. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And we hope that you'll continue to join us to learn more about our quilting journey. And hopefully we'll have lots of things that will inspire you on your quilting journey too. And have fun quilting this week.